So now we know what the actual theory of greater male variance was. How do you address it? Is it just politics? Or does numbers help us answer this? And the article you're reading addresses that. So here is the core insight, right? And Summers said it's about women and men and variance in math. Here's a very interesting thing. For almost 2+ decades, if not more, across the world, any student applying to college has gone through a math class, has done one of those tests, SAT, MathCom, this, that, and the other, to apply to college, right? Every one of you, at some point in your life, has done a math test. And you're not alone. 30 years of students have been taking these classes and sitting for these exams across the world. So we have data. So the first thing to note given all this politics of visibility, hypervisibility, invisibility, we are in a unique situation. We actually have the data. We can check country by country by country to look at the variance. If in every single country men show greater variance than women, that means biologically men just have more variance than women. Straight up. But here's the thing. Many of you have wondered, is it nature or nurture? And this is a very interesting moment. Because, if it was nature, you would get the same result biologically every single country, right? But if it was nurture, some countries would show variance in one direction, some countries would show variance in another direction. Some countries would show that greater male variance is not a big deal. Some countries would show way more greater male variance. What that means is variation, listen to me, variation in the variance is a sign of culture, of nurture. However, if there is no variance and you get the exact same result, country after country, that's a sign of nature. So this is a very interesting question. We, as it happens, have data on it. And so now I want you to go and read the article that's assigned. And I want you to actually drill down and look at the data, because the tables in the article give you comparisons between male and female variance. And the results are kind of interesting, sometimes perplexing. So, for example, unexpected countries show up as having better female results than male results. And if you think about it for a second, how come this country with sex segregation of education got better results? The answer is because the girls are just doing their math class with math profs who are feminists and women, and they got role models. They're not like sexually competing with each other. So countries where there is a lot more young sexual competition of girls, they actually don't do as well compared to countries where women have role models, women have pathways to STEM and math, and women do well. So, okay, this is an interesting insight. Second, just look at the US. Are we like every other first world country? Or are we anomalous? Is there a lot more gender variance in the US compared to other countries? If there is, well, that's interesting. Maybe we have an issue to solve in US education. So for me, we have the data, we're thinking through this issue, and we're using the data. Where I want to leave you with is that the data helps you address issues. You had a hypothesis, greater male variance, and you had a chance to look at whether that was a legible, legitimate, correct hypothesis. The other thing the data does is it helps you think about patterns, issues, where to go from here. And the final thing I want to leave you with is that to the extent that bargaining tells us that the bargaining is not necessarily inside the household, but about wage gaps outside the household. If greater male variance, men better than women, doesn't explain the wage gap, what else does? That's our next unit.